Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back with you, and we are so lucky today because we have with us such a great guest making a return to RHAP after some time, but we're so excited to have it back with us. Star of television and podcasts and movies, and such a funny lady here with us. Of course, you know her from her works in The Happiest Season, Ghosts, and soon to be in the reboot of Little House on the Prairie. It's Mary Holland. Mary, how are you?
Hi, Rob. Oh, ding.
Ding.
Wow. It's as wonderful as I imagined it would be. Um, it's so nice to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted.
Yes. Okay, well, it is wonderful to have you here with us. I know everybody is very excited for you to come on and talk a little Survivor 50, and we're pulling out all the stops here in Survivor 50.
Yeah, no stops. No, it's full steam ahead. There's no
Don't
stop
stop
in sight.
believing, is
Never
what they
stop
say.
believing. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So, yeah, and much like you, the survivors, they also go on a journey. And so we are going to talk about your survivor journey and so
Yeah.
much more.
I'm delighted. Yeah, I'm ready to dig in.
Yeah.
Yes, I was just telling Rob before we started recording that I saw Journey in concert. And so he's really doing such a great job of weaving that into this introductory conversation.
Yeah. So, Mary,
Very
how are
faithfully,
you?
you know.
Yes, faithfully. Yes. And we welcome you with open arms here
Oh,
to the podcast.
thank you so
So,
much.
Mary, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm really loving this season. I'm loving. Oh, I'm just all the takes that have been taken about it, I fully agree with, which is the returning players are we need more of that. It's so clearly a recipe for wonderful storytelling that I'm just loving watching all these players come back. All the theme of the sort of old wounds from the times you played before and how you're going to approach it differently this time and
Hmm.
how you know you can't help but be who you are. I just think there's something really beautiful about uh, that we're seeing unfold with these characters and their stories as I know they're not character. I
Yeah.
know this isn't
Yeah,
fictional.
sure. But they're TV characters to us. They're real people and they're
Yes,
having a real thing, but to us, they're TV characters.
that's right.
That's how we're
um
absorbing them.
yeah, exactly. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
So,
So yeah, so I'm having a great time.
Mary, so that this is not your first time on RJP.
No.
You checked into the RJP B&B with Mike and Liana twice
Yes.
before in season David versus Goliath, so very relevant. And then
My
also
favorite season.
in season 39, also the last episode before the merge.
Mhm.
And I wanted to know, do you have any open wounds from your previous time on RHAP that you're here that maybe still affecting
Yeah.
you in some way on this podcast?
Well, it's a great question because I do feel like I tend to get really excited when I talk about Survivor, and I'm not the most I just did it. I'm not the most articulate person when it comes to connecting thought to word. And so I remember my past two experiences on the B&B having such a great time with them, but then feeling afterwards like, wow, I really need to work on how I communicate my thoughts and feelings. It's happening right now.
Yeah,
Doing it better, coming in with insights and ideas and being able to voice those in a way that
yeah.
feels like I got my point across. So that's what I'm looking to correct here today.
That seems like
And
so
so far, I'm
surprising to
sweating.
me
I'm
because
sweating.
that you have such a storied background in improv. I'm wondering, is that a
Yeah.
different skill set than talking on a
Yeah.
podcast?
Well, yes, because I
Well,
think in
and it's not one because
improv.
I would not be great at improv just because I
Oh,
talk
I
on a
think you would
podcast.
be. Beg to differ. No, I think you would be. But I guess when I'm talking as myself, I have much less confidence than
Hmm.
when I'm in a scene and there's sort of a base reality that I'm buying into that isn't this current reality where I am who
Yeah.
I am. I'm able to just sort of, yeah, I guess it is like a different part of my brain gets activated. And when I'm speaking as a character, I feel so much more at ease than when I'm
Yeah.
speaking as myself. And,
Could you
yeah,
improvise though as a character who was like a knowledgeable survivor person, or does it not work like that?
it doesn't work like that. I have listen. There are times when I short circuit in an improv scene if I have to play a surgeon, which happens so much.
Mhm.
Um, I'm playing a surgeon, and I'm being asked medical advice, and you have to come up with that. And
Stat.
see, you would be great at it, Rob. Um, and so and then I will fall into my, I will sort of lose steam, I guess, in the improvising if I have to come up with a lot of jargon on the spot, for example.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me to come in as a character with a specific emotional angle, then I could really lean into it, and then maybe that would keep my verbal boat afloat, so I could
Yeah.
power
All right, well,
through.
thank you for indulging me on that. I do think it's
Of
really,
course,
really interesting, and
yeah.
I really think a lot about how sometimes in real life, sometimes we it can just try to be, if not actually ready for a moment, like how do we just
Yeah.
pretend that we are
Fake it till we
the
make
right
it.
person in that particular spot, and I find myself doing that a lot. But let's talk about your survivor history with the show,
Okay.
because I'm always curious to know how people discover the show and what Survivor has meant to you over the years.
Well, I'm so excited. Um, you ask anybody who knows me well, and they will tell you that Survivor is a pillar of my identity. It really, I came to it, I guess, at a very pivotal age in my development as a young adult, and I really crystallized around it. I remember watching the first season when it came out. I was a teenager, and my parents watched it. My parents have been fans this whole time too, and so they stayed consistent and watched it from the first season on. But I watched the first season, didn't really know what was going on, and didn't come back to it until I was in my early 20s. And I was in living in Los Angeles, and I had just recently moved. I hadn't quite found my community yet. I was very lonely, and I came back to Survivor somehow, and I started watching Micronesia, and I watched that season, and it was like the world opened up to me. And ever since, I have been absolutely devoted to this show and the game. I consumed all the seasons that were available to watch, all the ones that came before 16, all the ones that came after. And I will talk to anybody who doesn't know Survivor or isn't a fan of Survivor in my life. They find themselves involuntarily cornered by me, and I'm just raving to them about how brilliant it is and how much it means to me. It
Yeah.
really does mean so much to me. Um, and so yeah, that's kind of my history with the show itself. Yeah.
Do you make these people that you then are telling them all about the show? Do you make them watch
I encourage them to. I don't, sit them down next to me on the couch
Clockwork
and
Orange? Right.
yeah. Yeah, I have the equipment to do that, but I don't do that
Yeah.
to them. So, but I
It's
have
a
that
lot of
equipment.
restraint to
It
have it and
is.
not use it.
Oh, it's so tough, but um but yeah, I do encourage them to, and I actually now because inevitably whenever I have these conversations with people who don't watch Survivor or aren't familiar with it, then the question always comes of would you ever play? And my answer even before the experience I had in the pandemic would have been, no, I don't think I could. I'm a bit too much. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm a little too gullible, but then also I'm a little too earnest, and so yeah. And then I discovered a lot when I in the pandemic.
Yeah.
when I
Well,
got a more intimate relationship.
yeah, tell us about that, that you were somebody who was playing, in an online survivor game during
Yes.
the pandemic.
Yes, this game was created by my friend Kelsey Krasnogor, and it was called Quarantine Island. And the setup of it was so brilliant. She did 5 seasons of it, and it, I played the second season. And basically, how it worked was we would be all the players would be divided onto tribes on Slack channels, and so we could only communicate within our Slack channel. So you couldn't message with the other tribe. And then you also, all of your conversations happened over Slack. So there were no in-person face-to-face, or no like Zoom face-to-face conversations between players, except for when we did the tribal councils and the challenges. And so then we were all on Zoom. And it was, oh, my heart's racing just thinking about it. So in thinking about season 50 and the season of Old Wounds, I so understand, and I didn't even go and play Survivor the way these people did.
Mhm.
And all the hats I own are off to you and them and everybody who's ever played the game, because this online version, it let me tell you, you really learn who you are playing a game like this. I think, and not to say, I played a more intense version than anybody who's gone to the island to play it, but I
You
do
don't
think I
know
played a
that.
more
You don't know
intense
that.
version. Well, the reason is because only being able to communicate over Slack, which I'm sure your listeners know what that is, but I guess it's mostly used for businesses, right?
Yeah.
It's
It's
like an
like
online
Discord for
messaging.
business.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and only being able to communicate over Slack means that I could be having a conversation with you and a conversation with Brandon, and you would have no idea I'm having a conversation with both of you.
Mhm.
So it's not like, you would physically see me go off on a walk with whoever. There are
Yeah.
multiple conversations happening. It just really, it was like, it made the paranoia leap to this quantum level. It was so intense. And then I think I made several strange decisions.
Okay.
And one of which was, so I had found a hidden immunity idol, and I actually voted for someone. And then Kelsey, who was our host as well, asked if anybody had an immunity idol. And then I played it for the person I voted for. So,
Yeah.
and that was like a really weird move, and it actually blew up my closest alliance, and everybody was confused by it, and I was confused by it too.
Yeah.
Um,
But explain
but
why, what do
okay.
you gain out of that?
Well, my thinking at the time, so here, oh, yeah.
This is your exit interview. This is your deep
Okay,
dive.
okay, okay. Oh God, do I only have 10 minutes? Okay, so basically what had happened, and this goes back to the Slack of it all, there was a plan in place. I was part of an alliance. I had my closest alliance, and then I was part of a larger 6-person alliance. We had all just come back together. It was post-merge, and there was a plan in place to get out the biggest threat in the game. She thought one plan was happening. She was communicating with all of us in this 6-person alliance. And shout out Brittany. She ended up winning that season. She's a brilliant player. But
Mhm.
but there was a plan in place to get her out, and she had thought a different plan was happening. And she wrote, if you know anything about how Slack chains work, it's like the names are all in order on
Yes.
so
Oh, believe me, I know what it's like to be
okay,
in a million different Slack messages. It's like, "Oh, this is the one that doesn't have this person."
exactly.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So I had sent a message to the wrong group,
Mhm.
and I tried. Then I really dug myself into a hole, because then I tried deleting that message, but she had already seen it.
Yeah.
And so then the entire game blew apart at that moment. It was total chaos. Nobody was talking to me. And the vote was coming my way. And then it went not my way, and then one of my alliance members was throwing my name out, and then another one wasn't, and so basically what happened was I voted with my closest ally to get this one person out, but I wanted him to stay in the game because the other guy had thrown my name out. So that was my
Mhm.
reasoning.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is too complicated to follow.
Listen,
But,
what I'm
are
what
you
I'm
with me?
getting from you yeah, what I'm getting from you is, what a passionate Survivor fan you are, how
Yes.
seriously you take the game, and then also I'm seeing, like, these emotions wash
Mm,
up for you, and this is a game for
yeah,
you. When we're talking about open wounds, it seems
yeah.
like that these wounds are almost as fresh as the day that they happened 6 years ago.
Oh my gosh. It's so true, and I say all this, because you asked, but then also because I do want to, like, highlight for fans of this show who maybe have never played the game itself, of course, but I've never played a version of it where
Yeah.
these wounds are so real and they hit so close to home. It's kind of hard to imagine until you go through a version of it, but I really learned things about myself that, like, I came out of that and I didn't get over it for months.
Mhm.
I had angered people, which, also, if you know anything about me, I really need people to like me. And if that's a trait you have, this is not a great game for you to
Yeah.
play. I can't handle people being mad at me, and so then I had to really confront that aspect of who I am and unpack the psychology behind that, and I still haven't really successfully done that or addressed that,
Yeah.
but yeah, so
Do you
I really get
Do
it.
you feel like, Mary, did you gain anything out of this experience? Did it change you in any positive ways?
I mean, it did in that I became acquainted with a whole other layer of myself that I think if you're not in a position where you're being challenged in this specific way, you might not learn this about yourself. Being
Mhm.
forced to have develop these meaningful relationships with people and then also play at the same time a game that is inherently you have to act in your own self-interest in order to do well in the game. Having those things conflict, I think, reveals who you are to
Yeah.
yourself and how you handle these interpersonal relationships, how you feel about yourself. All of that comes to the surface. And so that in a positive light, that was really great for me to know
Mhm.
and discover about myself. So
Okay.
yeah.
So now you have all this experience with being a Survivor player, and
Yeah.
now
Oh
you
God,
can
that probably
certainly
shouldn't be the
no,
headline of this.
no, that's but I thought that
But I
your
played it. Yeah, I played a version of
But
it.
I
Yeah.
really felt like that your definition of what you got out of Survivor is, I think that maybe even better than Jeff himself is able to do sometimes of like, what that means to have gone through this Survivor experience of how do I
Yeah.
balance like making the relationships, but also not forgetting myself, and how do
Yeah.
I come out of this experience and then function and ultimately thrive in that. I think is a great Survivor lesson.
Yeah. And also being able to hold other people's uh disappointment, anger, frustration, sadness at your accent at
Yeah.
your actions. Like I really that was really, really tough for me. And I think, all these players who can really play the game and hold space for that and not take it personally, I'm just in awe of because, boy, did I take it personally. It
Let's
was
talk
hard
about
not
Survivor
to.
50, and I want to get
Yeah.
your thoughts on everything that's going on here. So, I know you said that you've really been enjoying it. Are there any storylines in particular that you've really enjoyed?
I have been so delighted to see Coach back,
Mhm.
and as someone one of the most profound experiences I had watching Survivor was that scene between Tyson and Coach in Heroes versus Villains, where Coach came to Tyson in this raw human moment of why do people make fun of me? I mean, I could cry just thinking about it.
Mhm.
Um, and Tyson really trying to give him honest feedback and and try to help him in this way. Um, my love for Coach was instilled from even before that moment, but that moment really solidified it for me. And watching him be back and play, he is someone, in the pantheon of players, he's a player that I think cannot help but be exactly who he is. Like, even if he's aspiring to be something different or something, come at it a different angle, it always comes back to him being him. He can't help that. And none of us can. And so I getting to see that play out with him, I'm loving it so much. I just think he is a very authentic person, and I think people respond to him for that reason. Other storylines I'm loving. I'm really curious what's going to happen with Aubrey and Genevieve. I'm,
Yes.
very into that. And I was very bummed to see Angelina go. She's another player that I love her authenticity. She's, in addition to how smart she is, how well spoken she is, there's so much I wish I had seen from her. But I also hear her point about there's several women in the season so far who we haven't really gotten to hear from, and so I'm really holding out hope that the second half of the season will feature more of these stories because I
Yes.
gotta know what's going on with Tiffany. I
We,
want to
we,
know what's happening with
yeah.
Emily. I want to know her perspective on things. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that there's like a bunch of different things at play there. I think in the case of
yeah,
Angelina, I have said from and you listen to the know-it-alls multiple times. You know that I said
that's right. I know it all.
why'd we bring back Angelina to
Yeah,
not have more Angelina? That
Angelina.
still I will never know the answer to this question of
Completely
why
agree.
didn't we get more of her story? And I really was very disappointed that we didn't get more of Angelina's arc.
I totally agree. Yeah. Because the first time she played, I remember watching her jaw dropped because she was so unabashed about how her approach to the game. Like it was
Mhm.
so unapologetic and at time like so funny at times and so interesting and unique at others, and like the negotiation with the rice and the moment with the jacket and that all in the same way. I love watching Coach. I loved watching her specific approach to this game and these relationships, and so I really missed it this time. I really missed that we didn't get to see more of
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
and,
so I was bummed.
uh, yeah, and it's only 5 episodes in that that
Yeah,
has not been but I do wanna say, like, for
I
people,
know.
and maybe I haven't said this as cleanly as I would've, liked to have said it, but I felt like that it that you could have somebody have a the next episode, somebody, Tiffany could have 6 confessionals, and then
Exactly.
so I just think that, like, with that you ideally, you could look at trends now, but the picture isn't fully painted yet. You still have like, because I
Totally.
do feel like that they will try to give everyone their story by the end of it. Maybe it's not the
Yeah.
full, from day 1 to day 26 story, but I do think that they do try to give everybody their arc over the course of the
Yeah.
season. And I think there's some people that haven't come in, and frankly, they're probably in over their heads a little bit with 24 people of like, I don't
Yeah, I know,
we
it's a
don't really know how
lot.
to do this.
And especially if that tribe is not going to tribal council, you kind of have to focus on
Mhm.
the vote that's at hand and how that's telling the story of that. So I totally get that, and I think you made a great point about Genevieve in her first season. We didn't hear so much from her pre-merge, and then
She exploded in
she
one
ended up, yeah,
episode.
she exploded, and so I'm hopeful that once everybody's on the same beach and they're all playing and it's all one vote that we're following with this group, I'm really
Yeah,
hopeful that more stories will get woven in.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
How
but yeah.
about with this week, we saw this storyline about Charlie wanting to pay back Rizzo for not voting for his number
Yeah.
one ally, even though that he did. But it was,
Mhm.
for Charlie, a big focus of why he wanted Rizo out.
Yeah, and I really and I'm curious, hearing his exit interview and hearing that, for him the this was an aspect of it, but wasn't the sole focus for him, it sounds like, of why he was driving that vote. Um, but I think it does get maybe to the emotional core of what was behind it. And so I really understand this idea of not wanting to repeat the mistakes that led to, whatever your first outcome was. And I think for him, it was trusting someone or trusting an outcome was going to happen that didn't. And his approach this time was, okay, how can I eliminate that before it's even a factor? Like, I sort of didn't think of it as he's punishing Rizzo. I think it's more he's taking out someone who he thinks is maybe going to make him repeat the mistake
Hmm.
from his first go around. Um, so yeah, and then also Rizzo's really good. I also think even without these wounds from the past, I think Charlie targeting Rizzo makes so much sense because Rizzo is socially, he's so adept at moving between groups, at creating these relationships. He is a dangerous player to have in the game if you're not
Yeah.
with him. And so, yeah.
Do you think that Rizzo might have an advantage over the other players that are still in the game in that Rizzo is so still in it? He does not
Yeah.
know what his wounds are. He has not had the
Yes.
time for
Oh, I
anything
think
to
so for
heal
sure.
over and scab and
Yeah.
scratch at it. Like he's still kind of like Russell used to say, like, I didn't play Survivor 2 times. I played 1 time. And that kind of is the case with Rizgod.
Yeah. Yes, I do think that is an advantage for him because I also think, and I think this was made on your podcast network about this as well, which is that he also hasn't gotten the experience of reading commentary from
Hmm.
people of like experiencing the list the the listeners the
Yes.
listeners of Survivor weighing in
Hmm.
on the moves you make, the moves you don't make, like their impression of you, how they're annoyed by you, or how they love you, or all of that I think goes into shaping how you approach it when you come back into the game. And in fact, I had this thought and then I was like, there'd be no way one could do this, but I was like, is there something to creating some sort of sequester for the players of Survivor where they actually don't get any sort of um I guess this would be more for if you're like, you know, playing if you're going to be playing more than one season, but you get sequestered from any kind of
Hmm.
online commentary about your game at all. And what would a player then be like when they come back into the game? If that's really just them reflecting on their game and they have no outside influence,
Hmm.
what would that look like? And can we make it happen? And can you
Yeah.
make
So,
it
okay.
happen?
All right. So we want to maybe play Survivor 51 and Survivor 52. We're going to have the same people back to back, or just one person is like, we're going to pick our all stars out of Survivor 51 that are going to be back on Survivor 52.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, pick
All right,
our
so we're gonna
also
have
yeah.
like our Rizgod and Savannah who are gonna come from 51 and come into 52, but we're gonna sequester them so that they don't really know. I mean, I don't even think it would air. So I don't think that they would actually I don't think we'd even need to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's true. That
Yeah.
yeah. But I
So
guess the larger point I was getting at was how can we is there a way that we can manufacture for these players a sort of shield where they're just in the purity of the game experience, which I guess is what Rizzo is. Rizzo and
mhm,
Savannah both were that.
yeah. But
And
I don't
I
think
do
this is
think it
such a
gives them
bad
an
idea
advantage.
of,
Thank you.
you wanna run it back with, like, 1 or 2 people who's like, "Okay, this person's a real fan favorite." It's like, "Hey, you wanna just stay in Fiji and play again?
Yeah.
Go," you know? The
Yeah,
fans will like it.
or years later play again, but in that time you can't go on social media.
Yeah, so
And people
maybe
would
we'll
be able to adhere to that.
yeah, so we'll keep them in, like, some, like they'll send them to, like, the space station or something
Yeah,
for, like,
that's
2 years, then bring them back.
I think that's reasonable, and I think that's affordable and doable. So,
I think so. I
um,
think so.
yes, but I did have that thought about them of I think that's a massive advantage for Rizzo
Yeah.
and Savannah initially because uh but it's also a disadvantage because you sort of you do I think alter how you approach things too in a more positive way maybe
Yeah,
after
but
you
it
see
is
yourself.
you would think it would be an advantage of like, "Hey, I'm gonna get all this feedback in terms
Yeah,
of what other people are saying about me, and it's gonna help me." But I think in a lot of ways, I think it makes you doubt yourself and get into your head. Is that
yeah,
anything that comes up in your work where that I'm sure that there must be online commentary about things and everybody's curious to see it. And do you find in
yeah.
any way it ever hampers you reading too much?
Well, I do try to avoid reading much at all, but sometimes my ego can't help itself.
Yeah.
And I remember I did a sketch for Funny or Die years ago that went up on YouTube, and I made the terrible mistake of reading the YouTube comments. And
Yes.
one of them was about me. One of the comments was, "Is that Bill Hader?" And so which I thought was very actually very funny, and,
Mhm.
I guess, look like Bill Hader or do look like Bill Hader a bit, but, yeah, I think I try not to take in
Yeah.
the negative stuff, because it will get me in my head for sure, and it's kind of ignorance is definitely bliss when you're trying to perform.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
hard because I love to get feedback, and
Do you?
so
Do
I
you?
really yeah, I do because I know not everybody does. I do love to get
Yeah, I
feedback
think
because
that's amazing.
even when it's negative, I feel like, okay, like I try to take something like obviously if there's negative feedback, like there's some sort of like miscommunication there. And
Yeah,
so I do try to take it in. I think there's a difference between like hate and feedback.
yeah. Yes, that's true, that's true. Yeah, I
But it's
mean,
hard
well,
to
and
but they're in the same place. So
they are in the same
hard
place.
to filter the hate from
Yeah.
the feedback. Even negative feedback is can be constructive as long as it's not just hate.
I also think we're in such an interesting time where, in the '90s, when I wasn't even born yet,
Mhm.
in the '90s,
What
like,
you've heard.
what from what I've heard is that you would just make art and put it out there. Your movie would come out, and you'd get the like formal reviews from
Mhm.
whatever publication, and that's sort of how you gauged. And then you have the box office, numbers, and that's how you gauge how well people received it. But now the people have a direct line to the actors themselves, the directors, the writers. There's a way to
Mhm.
directly let someone know what you thought about what they did.
Yeah.
Um, and so that level of feedback, I think it is different when you're creating art and you're sort of putting as opposed to like, uh, this is how I handle myself in a professional setting. I definitely want that feedback. But I think if I'm putting out a piece of art that I made,
Yeah.
um, it's a different thing. Like if I think also as an actor, a lot of the feedback you're getting is thoughts about your face. so
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
it's the things that I can't really control. I mean, I guess I could look more Bill Hadery if I wanted to. So
If you wanted to, yeah.
yeah, so, but anyway, the aspect things that are outside of your control, or it's like a specific artistic,
Mhm.
approach, something you're trying to communicate with your art, it can
Mhm.
be difficult to get feedback on that,
Yeah.
um but if I may just rave at you for a moment,
Please.
I so appreciate that quality about you because I have listened to it, I've heard it over the years as I've listened to your podcast, you being so open and receptive to other people's insights and feedback and opinions. And I really think, and this is not no hyperbole, I really think you're a force for good in this world. And what you're doing it really brings so much light to my life and other people's lives, all your listeners. We're so devoted to you, I think, because you are such an excellent host and then you're also just a person who's constantly trying to grow, and that's really inspiring.
Thank you so much, Mary. I really appreciate that. I feel like in a lot of ways I'm like the customer service department for Survivor in a lot of different ways, and so I end up like listening on a lot of the feedback
Yeah.
for Survivor, where
Yes.
Survivor itself is not always open to feedback, but it's not
Yeah.
always easy, but I do feel like I do try like both on and off the podcast I do try enjoy trying to, get better at the things that I do.
Yeah, and also and I think that's such a great point where you're also filtering, you're taking someone's opinion and you're also sort of parsing it out with them and repackaging it in a way that it could be then sent up to whoever's in charge of making the decisions
Mhm,
at Survivor, and it could be presented as this is an interesting thing, whereas maybe it came in really raw and really emotional, and you do such a great job of like reverbalizing it, repackaging it so that it's a digestible, helpful piece of information,
mhm.
I think.
Yeah, and I know
Yeah.
that probably people want me to be angrier on certain things when, people like and I do sense that like, there's a lot of anger out there around Survivor, but I feel like at the end of the
Yeah.
day, I feel like that I make a show for people who really love Survivor, and I do try to, like, sometimes, like, need to have, like, an intervention with Survivor, like, "Hey, sit down, we love
Yes.
you, but you need to hear some hard truths," and stuff
Yes,
like that.
yes.
But, like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna probably be the person who like, I'll yell about stupid stuff. Like
And we love that.
like, the dumbest of things, like, but, um, like, I definitely, understand when, people are, not feeling, certain things about the show.
Yeah, as do I, yeah, and I really and I often go on the Survivor Reddit and read people's, I don't chime in myself, but I do read people their comments and their takes
Yeah.
on,
I thought you
where
spent
they
when
are
you
angry.
you read people like that you read them for filth.
Yeah, if yeah, I which you could probably tell
Just
from
end
talking
them,
to me is like,
end them.
I'm really capable of that. I'm really, really capable of that.
Yeah,
Um
but you're so hardcore that you go to the Survivor Reddit.
Yes, and I read people's takes because there's so many smart people out there and people have great insights into the game and there's a lot of emotion because I think, in as people write and have these conversations on Reddit, they're looking to have a place of catharsis where they can work through their feelings about what they just saw and what their thoughts on it are. And I just really enjoy going through and reading that because I find it's cathartic for me as well. Um, Even just reading people,
Mhm.
having their strong opinions about things. But I think when it comes to actually, putting content out there that everyone in the world is going to take in, then you have a duty. There's a responsibility to like not lead with the emotional part of it, because that's not ultimately constructive.
Mary, I know that
Oh my god, is it
you
over? Did I
No, 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 it's not over, it's not over. I was gonna ask you, I know you have, very strong feelings about the themes of Survivor,
Yes, I do.
and I too have said that I think that the themes need to come back in the
Oh,
50s.
I miss them so much. I think and I didn't realize it, until we had so many seasons where we had no theme, and I all the players in the new era, so great, so many
Yeah,
great players, so many great characters. I couldn't they are all, it's all a wash to me because I need and this could just be my brain, but I need some
yes,
sort of central story
yes,
that's anchoring me
okay.
in the season and that I'm seeing and the lens through which I'm seeing all these players.
Mary, okay, here's what I want you to do, okay? All right, because
Okay.
I know Jeff listens to the entertainment glitterati of Hollywood,
Oh my
okay?
god. Well,
So,
then he won't
Mary,
listen to me.
I'm gonna ask you to make the pitch for Survivor to have themes again
Okay.
so that Jeff Probst will hear you and listen.
Okay, first of all, hi Jeff. I love you. I admire you so much. Thank you for all your work. And I just want to say that I really appreciate something I really appreciate about what you've done with Survivor is that you keep trying new things. You keep looking to evolve this game that we love so much, and I really appreciate that. And I think it actually would work in favor of that approach if we revisit the idea of theming these seasons because it helps orient your viewers in a central story. Whereas when we don't have one, we're flapping in the wind, we're catching on to some stories, but we need a central anchoring point, and a theme would provide us with that. It also helps, I think, the players ground themselves from the jump in a game. I think, it helps them build a part of their identity within this game that informs how they play in a really empowering way. And then my other argument for this, Jeff, and thank you so much again for your time. I love you. I don't know if I said that before, but I like really love you. I just need you to hear that. But then I also need you to hear this other argument for theming the seasons, which is that there's an opportunity here in this time of such discord, such
Mm.
polarity. There is an opportunity here to bring together different philosophies, different ideologies, different worldviews, and having the players themselves and then us as the viewers watch people be able to bridge these enormous gaps that seem uh, mm, that seem like they'll never be able to be abridged. And so to that end, I just want to thank you again for your time, and I really hope that this inspires uh, this let me just delete all that and then just say, and I really hope that this inspires change in this direction for you as you approach season 51 and beyond.
Wow.
Sincerely, Mary. Oh,
That was very well done.
thank you.
Okay.
I'm really sweating. Okay, thank you.
If I could give some feedback, I think I
Oh,
maybe would have also included the theme is gonna be a hit with families who watch the show,
yes.
and also Gen
Yes.
Z and Emmy voters. I think that those that could also, but I think that,
I should have touched on
9.5 out
that.
of 10. Yeah.
Well, and I do have my finger on the pulse of, the Gen Z experience. And so I really could have spoken to that, and I should have.
Mhm. Mhm.
Anyway.
Yeah. What did you think of Jeff's impressions this week? Did you enjoy that?
Well, I thought they were great. I mean,
Yeah.
he's clearly a wonderful impressionist. I mean, as are you. And I think I sort of was like, this is we're spending time on this in a way that I want to see his impressions in their own,
Mhm.
I want to see Jeff's impressions and all Jeff's additional skills, rapping, everything. I do want that content, but I think how can we I didn't need it, I guess, in that moment.
Yeah.
I'm already following a story, and his impressions were so good, it took me out of it. It made me want more impressions.
Mhm.
Does
Yeah.
that make
I
sense?
mean, Jeff is really showcasing his talents
I
of like
know.
being such a multi hyphenate here on Survivor. Of like he raps, he does impressions, he's gonna do challenges. Like he's
Yeah.
really just such a renaissance man.
He's such a renaissance man, and it doesn't surprise me one bit. Like, I've always thought that about him, but
Hmm.
in watching earlier seasons of Survivor, the thing that was so interesting to me about Jeff was he was quite removed as a host, emotionally, and then also, he never showed his cards about what he thought about what was happening. He just kind of really deftly navigated the conversation
Yeah.
and sort of led the conversation in a way that highlighted these players' feelings and thoughts without him himself expressing his thoughts or feelings. And so it's interesting to watch that change as well with him, and watch him really just enjoy the spotlight a bit more.
Mhm. Yeah, he's gone through such an evolution from,
He
the
has.
beginning of the show, certainly. Um, and do you like it when Spicy Jeff comes out?
Oh, yeah. Oh, of
Yeah.
course. Oh, yeah. I mean, I want the hard-hitting questions to be asked because
Yes.
I want that, and I also want that for the players because it helps them then kick it up a notch in their gameplay, I think. It yeah, I
Are we
want to
having too
watch
much
them be
fun at tribal
challenged.
council?
Yeah, I do. Yes.
Yes, it should be a little more tense.
Yes, I think so. Yes, I think it is. I think overall, and as someone who is by nature playful, and I love it when people are playful, in Survivor, I think there's a time and a place for
Yeah.
playfulness, and I miss the sort of sense of ceremony and um, the
Solemnness.
sacredness, the solemnness of we're about to send someone home,
Yeah.
we're about to lie and deceive, and all of this stuff, and I really want to see the weight of that. I think.
Mary,
Um,
how were you at Zoom tribal council? Were you yucking it up or were you like deadly serious at Zoom tribal council?
Oh, I somewhere in between. I wasn't yucking it up, but humor is definitely a defense mechanism. So
Yeah.
I kind of can't help but get goofy.
Yeah.
And so there were times when questions were directed at me where I just remember all my focus was just on give as vague an answer as possible, answer the question without answering the question.
Yeah.
To sort of be able to sidestep any heat
Yes.
on me one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, I do think
Um,
it's a subtle thing that the really savvy players are onto where if you could get tribal council turning into anything else but a discussion of what's happening like around the camp or around the vote.
yeah,
If Jeff's talking about going to club condo and doing a full tilt boogie and like if you can get like derail Jeff in any way where then he's not asking questions that are going to, especially like you're going to blindside somebody, and there's
yeah,
like a big vote coming up. Sure, like the
yeah.
more you can
That
sort of
yes, that's so true.
filibuster
Yeah,
the small talk with nonsense and jokes
yeah,
and gags. That really behooves the person who is going to be doing. And if you sort of like are sitting there, it's like, boy, everybody's having like and I can tell you from my not that this was intentional on anybody's part, but the tribal council where I went home on Survivor All Stars, like we spent 40 minutes talking about Rob and Amber's relationship.
wow, yeah. Yeah. So there is like a strategic, benefit to it. But I think it's become such the norm that tribals are time
Hmm.
to just kind of socialize
Yeah.
with Jeff. That yeah, I mean I guess you do still, you know, you do still get away with blindsiding somebody hiding
Hmm.
within that, but
Yeah. Like
I want
eventually
people
you're
to
going
be
to
put
have to
on the
vote.
spot, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
I guess kind of what I want to see, and this maybe isn't fair to the players, but I do want to see them wrestle with trying to answer a question while trying to keep certain information back. It's very interesting to watch that play out. So,
Mary,
yeah.
I bet you have some great ideas for challenges on Survivor.
Well, I specifically think there's one challenge that comes to my mind where I'm like, we need more challenges like that.
Like what?
And I think it was in season 49, and maybe you'll be able to correct me on this, but it was a challenge where they had to create basically a human tower to go to reach something or put a block
Okay.
on top
Yes.
of a structure. And my husband and I were watching that, and we are both like, "We need more of this kind of challenge." And I don't even know how you would characterize that challenge, but everybody was involved. It
A
didn't
human
count.
king challenge.
I guess that's what I'm saying is I want more
Mhm.
human stacking
Yeah.
challenges, but where there wasn't one particular skill set we were relying on. It's not like one person who's physically strong could carry the whole team in it. It's not like a puzzle solver could really just
Yeah.
knock a puzzle out. It was like it called on everybody to participate, and no specific skill
Right.
set was better than the
If I
other.
recall, I think they had to, like, stack up certain like, the blocks to a certain height, and then at the very end, you needed somebody on somebody else's shoulders. I feel like
Yes.
MC was up there, like, trying to put the
Yes.
last piece up there.
Yes, I loved that. I loved the all hands on deck. Everybody's in the mix. And I also there is, of course, a place for the different phases of a challenge, and this challenge calls on this set of skills, and this other aspect of it calls on another set of skills. And how
Yeah.
does your tribe navigate that? But I really want, I watch a lot of Australian Survivor too,
Okay,
and
yes.
those challenges are really, some of them downright dangerous. But I kind of miss this sort of, let's get everybody in the mix. It's really messy. It's really primal. It's really sort of,
Mhm.
you're, it's tapping more into, I think, the survival part of it.
Right,
I
right.
think
I
in
do
some of
think
those
that that is a
challenges.
consistent comparison that people prefer the
Yeah.
physicality of the Australian Survivor challenges. I think that there might be some like I try not to pick at US Survivor too much or pick on
Yeah.
US Survivor too much around this because I think it has more to do with like insurance issues
Of
in terms
course,
of
which
like
I understand. Yeah.
why they don't do it as opposed to a preference. But I do think that having more of a variety in the challenges, I think that people
Yeah.
would really like that because it does feel like that in the pre-merge, almost everything is like a big race, and then in the post-merge,
Yeah.
everything is like, "All right, get ready, set, stand still."
Yeah. And I would just be curious to see if they took that approach of, okay, we're doing a challenge where every single person has to be involved in the same activity. What could that be?
Mhm.
What does that look like?
Yeah.
And I think you might get max drama from that as well.
Yes. Are you current on the, um, Australian Survivor, Redemption?
No, I haven't started watching
Yes.
it. I love JLP. So
Mhm.
I haven't started watching it yet. I'm actually just now finishing up. I've been going back and
Are you boycotting
no.
Australian Survivor because of your love of JLP?
No, I won't
Yes.
boycott. No, I'll watch it. But I'm still kind of working my way through the seasons that came before. I'm currently finishing up Blood versus Water, where
Yes.
Sandra and Nina went back to
Sure.
play.
Have you watched Australian Survivor versus the World, or you have not gotten to that
Yes.
yet? You
No,
did
I've
see
seen
it.
that.
Yes, okay.
Hmm.
Had you noticed anything, different about Cirie in season 50 after playing on Australian Survivor versus the World?
I think, oh God, Cirie is one of my all-time favorite players, and she has such consistency with her approach. But I do think that there is she always has also this level of joy in her play. There's a real ease about her, a real joy, and I sense a lightness in her this time around. She's never been someone who has a darkness or heaviness to her, but I sense a real sense of play and delight in her, and I wonder if maybe the Australia versus Survivor experience, or Australia versus the World Survivor experience, I, in some ways relieved a bit of pressure, and I don't really know what I am articulating by saying that,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I think that it seemed like a very positive experience for her, and so now there's this feeling of her going back and being like, "I'm having fun," you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I think you have to have fun. I think that that's really
Yeah, you
important,
have to,
and it's
yeah.
something that I try to, remind myself in all aspects of my life. But I think that, particularly in Survivor, I think that it's very hard to win Survivor or do well on Survivor when you're joyless about the experience.
Yes, and I know that I'm saying this on the heels of saying I want more solemnity, but
Hmm.
but I do think you do have to have a sense of curiosity, I think, and play and fun will get you so far in life. Having
Yeah.
having a sense of all three of those things, um, and in Survivor, I think you have to have that because otherwise you could get mired in the muck of it all, in the emotions of it all.
Hmm.
Yeah, you sort of have to keep bringing yourself back to that
Yeah.
compass.
Because you have no energy, you're beaten
Yeah.
down to such a degree on Survivor, and so if it's not fun, you don't have the will to do anything, to, like, do all
Yeah.
the things you need to do. You have to be enjoying, it can be I know Keith Nail famously said, "Survivor's not fun, going on a cruise is fun, playing golf is fun," but, Keith Nail also never won Survivor. You gotta
Yeah.
be enjoying it.
You do, and then but at the same time though, Robin, you tell me how you feel about this. I also I find it so refreshing when people get genuinely upset about what happened in the
Sure.
game. What the hell, guys? I find those moments, I think all of us are like, yes, like somebody said the thing that I would be feeling were I in that person's position. Like, I don't think we need to make the pendulum swing all the way back to where people really got so mad and were so venomous in how
Yeah.
they spoke to each other. But I wouldn't mind a little more genuine feeling about
Yes. Yeah.
what's
And
going
look,
on.
you don't have to have fun getting voted out. Like,
Yeah, like
Survivor should be you
yes.
should be having so much fun that you are mad when somebody's ending. What do you mean?
When the
You're
fun's
ending the
over.
fun for me? Yeah,
That's exactly right.
would
Yeah,
not like
I
that.
agree.
Um, okay, so then do you have any ideas for advantages they could be doing on Survivor?
Yeah, I do. I mean, am under no uh, I don't think anybody's going to be naming a Mary Holland advantage
Wow,
anytime
what would
soon.
the Mary Holland advantage be?
Well, my idea for one was a sharing. I have two. One is a sharing is caring advantage, where you, I don't know what the advantage itself is. Maybe it's an extra vote, maybe it's an idol,
Mhm.
but the, my idea of it is you have to, in order to activate it, you have to share that information with at least three people.
Three
So,
people.
yes, in order for the advantage to become active, you have to share the information.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm someone who's like keep advantages secret, but I was just like, what's a fun, we're theming these advantages, so sharing is caring was an idea I
Yes.
had.
Now, does
Um,
that have any tie-in to you specifically? Is that personally branded to anything in your work?
It's really not, I guess, except in that I'm a really codependent person, and
Yes. An
I'm sort
oversharer.
of an
Yeah.
oversharer, and I do need people to really approve of and
Yeah.
validate me, and so I guess that's what it's rooted in.
Can I tell you, embarrassingly, Mary, I thought it was the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol. I was like, "Oh, well, okay, I guess Billie Eilish must have some hit song, Boomerang. That must be one of her
That would make
hits."
so much sense. Yeah,
And I
that would
came to
make
find
so
out,
much
like,
sense.
no, I think it's just alliteration. I think it has, like
Oh boy. Oh man. Well, and who knows? Maybe we're inspiring her to write Boomerang because that's a great
maybe.
song title. Honestly,
Surprised there isn't already a
yeah,
Boomerang song.
me too. Um, yeah, there's something there with the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol that it feels like we didn't quite. I appreciate bringing in the other audiences, like wanting to tie Billie Eilish's audience in with the
Mhm.
Survivor audience, like get more eyes on Survivor. I'm all for that. Um, and I love the idea that Billie, I call her Billie because we're
Yeah.
friends, that she chose, I think from what I understood, she
Yes.
chose from a list of advanced. So I love the idea of her looking over this list and choosing one and all of that. But I don't think we really need her name on it. I think that could just be the story behind it. You know what I mean? Because otherwise we're all like, where's the Billie Eilish part of this? When does that come in? Um, like I want that story to be revealed at the finale or something like, hey, little did you know, this Boomerang advantage was selected by Billie Eilish. And here she is to sing her next song, her
Yes,
new song,
Boomerang.
Billie Boomerang.
Premiere Boomerang.
Oh my gosh, it'd be such a hit.
Mhm.
But yeah, but I had an idea for another advantage.
Okay.
And this is kind of inspired by is something I think is interesting on Australian Survivor is they do a lot of like, so you think you're voting someone else, but guess what? They're going straight to the other tribe. And so
Yeah.
one advantage I thought of was
Classic
what
non-elimination episode of Australian Survivor.
classic, classic. One thought I had was what if someone found an advantage where they have the option to swap with someone on the other tribe?
Yeah.
So they could I don't know where maybe you can help workshop this with me. I don't know, they play it at tribal council. Well, maybe not because they have to, they still have to go through the vote. But when they return from tribal council, maybe they can play an advantage where they're like, guess what? I'm switching with so and so on the other tribe. Um, and that's what's happening. So
Hmm.
it could work in the favor of someone who's on the bottom
Yeah.
or and I guess that's the only person who it would work for.
Yes. Okay. So this is interesting. I like this.
Okay.
Does it have to be me? Could I switch with
No,
like another person and then it's just like I just got to know, hey, I just got to know I have to go to the other tribe.
yeah. Yeah,
And
I
you
think
get to
so.
pick who comes back.
Yes, that's what I
Okay.
think it is you get to pick who you swap
So
with.
it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to use this and I'm going to send, okay, Camilla, you're on the other team and Jonathan, you're on my team. Could I do
Yeah.
that?
Oh, I see. So where you're not involved at all.
I'm not involved at
Um,
all. I'm like, hey, what the hell? Who did that? That was weird.
that's good. That's good because then you can really play it off just like that, and people will
Yeah.
be like, "Yeah, that's totally fine."
Hmm.
Um, yeah, no, I think you would have to be the person who is swapped, but you could pick who swaps.
I guess so, yeah, because it can be kind of overpowered if I could just
Oh,
pick
it's yeah,
somebody
too much power.
physically. So
But you
I
could
could
give the
go to,
advantage to somebody
yeah,
else. You could like give it to someone who you
I
see
like
is on the
this.
bottom,
I like
and
this.
you're
This is
like,
good.
"Really?"
Yeah. How do you, yes, I do. And I just don't know how we figure out the mechanic. Are you picking the person to send back is just randomly? Like, is it,
Hmm.
um, that's the part
Gosh,
of,
that is tricky. Because it does get it again, maybe has too much power where you so maybe it's just an advantage where you have the option to defect your tribe and go to the other tribe.
mhm. Yeah. What if everybody from the other tribe's name is in a bag and I'm going to switch to the other tribe and then
That's
I'm going to
good.
pull out
That's
this
good.
person?
Yeah, that's good. Although you might make an enemy for the rest of the game, I guess.
Yeah, because they would know it was you. They would know that Mary switched and sent me
No,
here.
I'd be like, it wasn't me. I don't know. I don't know what just happened. I just like
Somebody did
woke
it
up on this
randomly.
beach.
Yeah,
This is crazy. I don't know what
yeah,
happened. Um,
yeah.
yeah, but that was
Okay,
it. That was it.
but I
Yeah.
like this. And
So.
what's the name of this one?
This one is called Switcheroo.
So, oh, the switcheroo.
The
Okay,
Switcheroo.
I
Mm-hmm.
like this. Okay,
Okay.
um, I'll put that through. Put it on the
Will
whiteboard.
you?
Yes.
You gonna run that up the ladder?
I mean, if I listen, if I am asked, like, "Hey, Rob, what's may I put this on the list of things to consider?"
I would be honored. Of
Yes,
course.
Mary. Who are some of your other favorites on season 50?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm of course enjoying Christian a lot.
Yeah.
And we're getting a lot of story from his point of view. So I that is very fun to get to see his take on all of this. I really love Emily. I love this game she's playing. I really I connect with, and I'm really curious to see because I think she's an incredibly smart person, and so I want to know the story of the season for her so far. Um, and who else am I loving? I'm loving Genevieve, of course. I'm loving Cirie.
Why, of course? Why Genevieve, of course?
I think Genevieve is just a very skilled and a resourceful player. I think she really I think she gained a lot playing her first time. She did so well her first
Yeah.
time, and I think learned a lot from it and is actively implementing those things she learned. So I'm having a great time watching her navigate that. Again, I'm so invested in the Genevieve
Mhm.
Aubrey storyline. I want to know more about Tiffany because I love Tiffany, and I want to like,
You see how she twirled the ropes the other day?
oh, oh baby, that
Never seen
was
anybody do that ever on any
no,
show.
it was incredible. Who else am I loving? I mean,
Do you
it's
think she knew she was so good at that and she was like, "Guys, let me do the ropes. Trust me." Trust me. Like, no, no,
Watch
no, Tiffany.
this.
No, Tiffany. We got somebody else's on that. No, 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 no. I got the ropes.
Trust me on this one.
Watch. You watch
Yeah.
me.
It makes me think that everybody, in addition to practicing fire, everybody needs to be workshopping different
Could she
ways
like
of
lasso with
spinning
the ropes?
ropes.
Do you think that she has like some
She
skills?
looks like yes, she looks like she could do all kinds of nautical knots. I mean,
Hmm.
she seems to be really familiar with how ropes work.
Rope.
And so like she rope craft. And so
Yeah.
I want to know what else she's got in her bag with that
Hmm.
because
A bag
that
that's
was
tied up
brilliant.
with rope.
There you have it.
There you have it. That's right.
There you have it.
Um, Mary, do you watch any other reality TV, or are you just a
I
Survivor
sure do.
purist?
No, I'm not a Survivor purist. I that is my first love and my greatest love. But I watch Traitors, of course. I
Hmm.
watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which is
Oh,
the only Real Housewives that I follow is Salt Lake City, really. And then Below
why?
Deck.
Why SLC?
Well, that was recommended to me. I hadn't dipped my toes in the Real Housewives universe at all, and it was recommended
Hmm.
to me by a friend at a party, and my husband and I started watching it, and we became
Yeah.
hooked. Have
Yes.
you watched that
No, no,
particular?
and can I
Oh
say
God.
embarrassingly? So I did not know that there were two different things of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and the Secret Lives of Mormon Housewives. I didn't know that was two different things.
Oh
So
yeah,
I thought like,
yeah.
oh, there's going to be a bachelorette from the Real Housewives of Salt
Oh
Lake
no,
City.
no,
Well, I
no.
showed my whole ass when I realized
You sure did, and it
that's
went out to the internet. That's right.
yes, yes. I was like, oh, I didn't. There was a whole other different show.
Oh, and I would argue an entirely different universe that
Yes.
we're in. I mean, the Mormon aspect is a subtle thing that we're tracking in Housewives of Salt Lake City, whereas of course, it's the main
Mhm.
theme of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. But these women are they're just amazing, and let's talk about good storytelling. You got to see it to believe it. You just got to watch
Yeah.
it. That's a great show. And we
You
watch a
know
lot of Below Deck and, all of that
sure.
stuff.
No, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City have ever, set foot in Scotland at the Traitors Castle.
A shame.
Not yet.
Not yet. That will
Yes.
happen, I'm sure.
Are
Yeah.
you
And,
interested in one day maybe being a person who plays the Traitors?
well, hmm. Yes, I think that would, yeah. Yeah. I don't think I'd do well, but I think I would like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I have played Blood on the Clock Tower now
Oh,
twice,
look at
and
you. How did that go?
well, the first time, oh my gosh,
In
have you
real life
played
or on
it
Slack? Yes, I've
in
played.
real life?
Yes.
Well, the first time I ever played, I was the imp, and so that we
That's
talk about
tough.
getting thrown in the deep end.
Did you play with
Um,
people who are, like, real veterans also? Were you playing, like, above your skill level?
some had played before, but no, for the most part, we were all new to the game. Although I played with players who are avid mafia players, which is
Mm. Yeah,
similar, and they're all very good at it, and they're all uh, uh, you know one of my closest friends just knows by looking at me that I'm lying, and so
right.
that's a really tough thing.
It is hard because
I wear it on my face. I really do.
yeah. Mary, I have played a couple of times, I played recently in person, and I played also mostly online, but I feel like that almost every single time I've played, I'm playing with people who are so much more familiar with the game than I am. I'm so sheepish and timid to say anything. People are like, well,
Yeah.
what are you? I'm like, I don't feel comfortable saying right now because I don't like, I feel like you know everything and I know very little and I don't wanna say
Yes.
anything because 'cause I'm afraid I'm gonna blow it.
I know. I know. And but then if you don't say anything, then did you find that you got a target right on your back right away?
Yeah,
because that
and I
happened
feel
to
like people
me.
like, yeah, we don't trust you. I'm like, well, I don't
Yeah.
like, I don't trust myself.
Yeah, and I don't trust any of you either.
Mhm.
So now, now
Yeah,
where does that leave us? Um, yes, but I think I would have fun with the Traitors of it all because there's a real levity about that, especially um the celebrity versions. It really does seem like, oh, everybody's having a good time. We're
not
all sort of
everybody.
not everybody, Rob.
Mhm. I no, I had a fine time. I mean, again, like
Yeah,
I was having fun until I had to leave. Like
I know. God,
that
I
was fun.
loved. I squealed every time you were on screen. I was like, there you get. And you knowing about the Congo line and something, your Spidey sense going off.
Yes.
I couldn't get enough of you in that game and I wanted more. But yeah, I guess that's true. Not everybody does have a good time with it, but it just seems like that's the approach that they're taking with the US traders is like, let's get everybody's, celebrities, let's
Not that
get them on a
serious.
castle.
Just buy people a handbag after. It's all good. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, when it is non-celebrities
The
playing, it feels like
civilians.
the
Yes.
civilians. It feels like
You
there's
watch the UK?
the money. Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
The money is real. The money means a
Mhm.
lot. Not that it wouldn't to the celebrities playing, but I think that there's a in the same way Survivor is so compelling
Yes.
because people are really fighting for this, how it will change their lives, this money.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that there might be a couple of people on the US traders where, Tiffany certainly for one, was somebody who was like, okay, this money is really there. But I think that for the most
Yes,
part, I
for
think that,
sure.
85% of the people there, that the real prize for them is the fame that could come out of a successful run on the traders more so than the prize pot.
Oh boy, and did that work for Rob or what? I had no idea who that person was, and
He's
and
everywhere.
he's everywhere. He was trying to sell me granola bars.
Granola bars.
Yeah, isn't he doing like a kind bars
Kind bars,
commercial?
that's what I think of. Can I tell you something that I did that did not work?
Of course.
One like, okay, so I don't think I've said this anywhere. At
Oh my gosh,
the
an
Okay,
exclusive.
this is tea
This
for
is
you,
hot,
Mary,
piping
okay?
hot.
I in my head, I'm like, "Okay, I gotta try to be on good terms with everybody," like, and I was like, I had, like, all of the index cards of everybody, like, taped into my room. I'm like, "Okay, who am I where are my, like, my people that I'm not super close with?" And I had remembered after we did the first mission that Rob Roush was after the challenge was, like, really looking for, like he seemed famished, couldn't get any
Hmm.
food, and I said, "You know what? I'm gonna bring a protein bar to the to and I'm gonna give it to him after the mission." And after the mission, the second mission was over. I was like, "Hey, I got this for you."
Oh my gosh.
And then he killed me that night. It brought me nothing.
It wasn't the brand that he wanted.
Maybe.
Did you just take it from Crafty, or where did you get this protein bar? Was it a
Yeah,
personal
so there was
stash?
they have, like, a Crafty that you could have in your
That's
room,
so thoughtful of you,
at nighttime.
Rob.
I brought it with me for the day. I said, "Okay, I'm gonna get one bring one for me, and one for my buddy Rob is gonna look for he's gonna want a snack after the mission,
That is
and
incredibly perceptive of you and
maybe
generous
it
of
did me
you.
in. Maybe he's like,
Well,
"You know
but
what? This guy trying to
this
butter me
guy
up."
this guy is paying attention, I think is probably what it said to him was like
Maybe,
this guy's
maybe.
really watching. And that
Should
made
have
him
eaten
nervous.
2 right in front of them. He said, "Oh, this guy's oblivious. He, cannot read the social cues at all."
Exactly. You should have taken his, whatever he was eating, you should have asked if you could have it,
Yeah.
and then he'd really be like,
Mary,
"Oh."
any other
Yeah, am I
scripted
crazy?
things you're watching, besides, your fine work on Ghosts?
Yes. Well,
I
I
heard that
love
you have, like, no
yeah.
with no shade to the other ghosts. I've
Mm.
heard that you pardon my pun, but you injected new life into Ghosts.
Well, I think my character is it was a different energy because she was such such a bummer.
Mhm.
That because I play a Puritan who's very severe. And so
Mhm.
I think that there was, I think, a new energy coming into the house from her, how much she really sucked. So,
Mhm.
so maybe yeah, that was what you were hearing. But,
Yes. Well, I do have a question for you, from our mutual friend Alex,
mm,
who wanted me to ask you, how come a year ago that there used to be like interstitial commercials during Survivor where the
yeah.
cast of ghosts
Oh,
would be reacting to what was happening on Survivor? Why did we get away from that
well,
beautiful CBS synergy?
I was actually I can't speak to why we got away from it because I loved it. I loved
Yes.
seeing the tie-ins, and I actually was there at the inception of that.
Yes.
One of the writers and producers of Ghosts is a also an avid Survivor fan, John Blickstead, and we were talking about.
Shout
He's
out to
also
John
played.
Blickstead.
Shout out to John Blickstead. He also played another. They do these in-person Survivor games one day only,
Wow.
and he had played that game with my friend Kelsey, who had created Quarantine Island. She connected us anyway, and we were chatting on set, and it came up of like, oh, it goes CBS Survivor CBS. There's got to be something here. Like, is there something here? And then I think John really ran with that, and he had a great idea of how to do that. And then yeah,
Mhm.
these great little and so I guess in the end I will say it's because of me that those happened. Which is
Yeah.
not true. It's
Wow.
not true, but I did witness the inception of them.
Yeah, I think those things
Um,
were sort of like, I feel like it's sort of like DVR blockers of like, you're like, fast forward. Oh, wait, the show's back on. And then you trick them and it's like,
yes. You
haha,
tricked us.
now you're watching it
Yes.
wasn't actually the show. You're watching the ghosts talk about the show.
But it's these ghost characters are so much fun. And
Yes.
they have such strong opinions that I do think there is a lot of comedy to be mined from getting their take on
Yes.
what's happening in the show.
On
On
anything,
anything,
because
on
they're
anything.
all people from all throughout history,
Yeah.
and they should be reacting to also like what about this for like a ghost spinoff? Like, what about remember when like Beavis and Butthead used to like watch music videos? Like, what if the ghosts are just watching other things on Paramount Plus?
Uh, uh, it's genius, Rob. I mean, this is how you build an audience. Yeah. I mean, what else could they be watching? They could be watching Tracker,
Hmm.
or they could be
Like
watching what?
ridiculousness.
What's that?
That's an MTV show that they I think that
Oh,
MTV has
ridiculousness,
no shows. They just have ridiculousness all day.
man.
Mhm.
Man, could we bring the real world back?
Mhm. Sure. Sure.
Okay,
And it's the
great.
ghosts?
And it's the ghosts. I mean, I guess that is what the show is.
Yeah, that's that. They
It's
brought it
just
back. This is the true
they did bring it
story
back,
of
I guess,
7
with the
ghosts.
ghosts.
More than
Yes.
7 now. It's more than
What
several.
happens when they stop being polite and start being
Mhm.
ghosts?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is what we're watching, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, that was really, very fun when they did that, and hopefully they bring it back. And hopefully maybe the
Yeah, I
theme they
hope
bring
so
back for Survivor
too.
51 is Survivor Ghosts Island,
Yeah,
right?
let's redo that. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's a great idea. And then
Yep.
instead of it being like, oh, idols or advantages, like mistakes of the past, it's actual
I mean,
ghosts.
is that not but the theme of the TV show Ghosts? Of
It sure
that you
is.
have these apparitions who are, in some cases, still like dealing with the physical
Yes.
wounds of what has happened to their body, of what has ended their life on Earth.
Yes.
And now for all of eternity, it's like, boy, I shouldn't have, led that battle against what was it? Uh uh the American Indians that day.
You're right. Right. I think there's like
That was a
they
mistake.
that was a
Won't do
mistake,
that
and
again.
they are constantly learning more about themselves in ghosthood, in understanding the mistakes of
Mhm.
their aliveness. over the course of the show, and I think yeah, it's like exactly what the theme of that season was.
Yeah,
Um, and I do think there is something to be said for, in the spirit of theming things. How about
literally.
ghosts versus alive people?
Wow. So
How about it?
that would be really intense.
Tough to pull off from a production standpoint, but I think
Mhm.
that would be we could learn a lot about ourselves from that.
Yeah. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I
Well,
do think a good
Mary,
season would be flat earthers versus scientists.
flat earthers for scientists. I mean, but I do think that like some kind of a hook
Yeah.
to get people like, okay, I gotta see that. I think that's exactly what Survivor
Yeah.
needs. Like,
I think so too.
Survivor,
Yeah.
and we've said this before in the podcast. Like when they just keep coming, it's iPhone 18. It's like, I got an iPhone. What do I need? That's not that exciting.
Yeah. What's different? What's different about this one? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do think people are eager to see the uh, how we are so polarized. I think people want to see that play out and people attempt to work around that.
Yeah,
I think it is a microcosm of society, this show.
sure.
And
Yeah, and
we
I
need
think
that.
well, I think that as a whole, like one of the things that I like to talk about is that I think that as the wide net of Survivor fans, that hopefully there is like one thing that unites this group, even though that often the Survivor fans don't agree about anything, that there is one thing that, everybody is passionate about at the end of the day. And I think that there is some optimism there. But I do think that one of
Yeah.
the like defining things about Survivor, and listen, you have people who are so far gone that there is nothing that can unite these people. But if you found like amongst like the 80% of people in the middle, like I think that there is a lot that still unites people together. And I think that
Yeah.
Survivor can still be about building a version of that society.
I think so too. I think so too. I believe in it so much, and I will never ever ever give up on Survivor. I believe in it. I believe
Hmm.
in its mission. I believe in the forces behind it, and I think, and to sum up, I believe in you, and I believe in this podcast, and I believe in
Thank
your
you, Mary.
listeners,
Yeah.
and I
Wh-
believe in it's all gonna be okay. Is what I believe.
Do you promise?
Yeah.
Okay. That was a little bit of a pregnant pause.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, Mary's really cooking. But then that was like a little, ah,
I mean, I don't have all the answers, but I
okay.
believe
I
that
thought
we'll
you
be
did.
okay.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm happy to hear you say that because you seem like your finger on the pulse of a lot of things.
Oh yeah, I'm in the know. If you're
Hmm.
never gonna find anybody who's more aware of everything around her and never
Yes.
runs into anything and is totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Mary, this was so fun. Thank you for making so much of
Thank
your time
you.
for us to talk about Survivor. I know
My
you must
pleasure. I could do
have
this all
a
day.
million things going on. And so please come back anytime.
I'd be
Even
thrilled
if you
to.
ever want to come in with like a hot take for, hey,
Okay.
like, can I just drop this take on you and then can I get back to set?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Hot takes are always coming to me on set. Hopefully,
Hopefully. Yes.
you know what I mean.
On both
But
counts. Sure.
on both counts. But I really appreciate it. I'm such a fan of yours, and I would love to continue talking with you anytime.
Yes, this has been such a highlight for me, Mary. So thank you
Me
again so much.
too.
This is really, really fun. Mary,
Thank
where could
you.
people keep up with what you're doing?
Um, I'm I'm I keep things people updated on my Instagram at Mary
Yeah.
Hollandaise, like the sauce. And so I do live shows and around
What will
Los
we see
Angeles,
at
and
your live
then
show?
you'll see a lot of improv, a lot of long form improv comedy. I perform all around Los Angeles all the time, and then Lauren Lapkus and I are actually hitting the road with a
Wow.
two-person improv show. So we'll be bringing that to a city near you, hopefully this year. So
Okay. All right.
yeah,
I hope it's a city near me.
if it is, I'll only charge you a little bit for the tickets,
That's fine. That's
not the
fine.
full
Yes.
amount, but just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Gotta get discount code. That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Mary, thank you so much. Thanks everybody who checked this out. We've got a big Survivor come. Are you nervous about this episode on Wednesday because they really
Yes.
teased something devious is going to happen?
I know. I'm very curious, very excited. It seems like because
You
we're
said
merging, right?
yeah, you said you wanted it to get serious.
I do want it to get serious. Maybe I shouldn't have put that out
they
there.
they showed it like an evil shot of Jeff at Tribal Council.
Oof. Yeah, what could it possibly be? I'm really excited. I could do with a little evil Jeff here and there.
Mhm.
Not exclusively, but here and there. I'm nervous, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what's in store.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll all find out on Wednesday night. So join us then. Check out everything else we have going on this week, including my interviews with Adam Klein and Rachel Lamont and so much more. Thank you for watching. I will be reading your feedback on this podcast as well. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.